It is with incredible amounts of excitement that we're bringing this conversation to you. It is the 2025 Ultra Trail Australia preview. I'm here with two experts. Like we were talking before about like if we were search engines and I'd be like, is it Bing? Is that the one? And you guys would be like the one that's buried in the Pentagon. DuckDuckGo. That's self-aware and is going to drop the bombs. You would be Skynet. It is coach extraordinaire of Squadrun, Kerry Suter, and coach extraordinaire of Squadrun, Ali Pottinger, and my co-host. And we are going to rip through all the goodness because not only are we 3 weeks away from getting to party in the Blue Mountains, we are 3 weeks away from the new kid on the block, which is the Ultra Trail Australia 100-mile race for 2025. And holy moly, that is going to separate the wheat from the chaff. So look, I'm your concierge. I'm going to hand it over to you both. Like, let it rip.
Yeah, so thanks, Matt, and thanks everyone for tuning into Dirt Church again. Now UTA 2025, I think probably an important bit of information is that it's a UTMB major this year. So let's just take a quick moment to touch on exactly what that means, because a lot of people don't know what it means or think it means nothing, but it really means something, and this is what it means.
It's a little bit confusing. So each year UTMB chooses 3 races to be a world major, and this year UTA is a world major, which means that it gets kind of increased race coverage. I've just got it up in front of me. Prize money up for grabs is legit. So 73,500 euros, so which is approximately $120,000 AUD up for grabs. So in the 50, the 100K and the 100 miler, first place takes out 5,000 euros. Second place, 3,000. Third place, 2,000. Fourth place, 1,250. Fifth place, 1,000 euros, which is decent, right?
I mean, you can pretty much, so you're doubling that to the dollar do, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's a good workout. And, for everyone else, it's double running stones. So for those that gamble on getting entry to the
Big Kahuna.
Yeah, the big UTMB, CCC, TDS, etc., you have to throw down some running stones. Running stones are collected at UTMB races. The by UTMB majors are worth double. And so the miler, for example, is 10 running stones instead of 5. Is that right? Or is it 12?
Oh, I don't know.
So, yeah, it's pretty tasty for those that show up. Now, this being the first year for the 100-mile event, they have limited the fields somewhat because they really want to sort of test the water, make sure it's not something that's going to be, too challenging. We'll find the level, and then I think the capacity for it will continue to grow. What do you know about the course, Matt? What have you heard?
So I have heard, well, I guess the other thing to think about is also the infrastructure around the event. So if it is a major, then we're thinking, you've got full multilingual commentary, you've got live streaming, you've got all that sort of stuff, like all the UTMB bells and whistles. So that's going to be amazing. What I've heard essentially for the 100 mile, and that was talking to the mayor of the Blue Mountains, Ben Berryman, is that...
Not the actual mayor.
No, well, he pretty much is the mayor of the Blue Mountains, isn't he? He's our spiritual leader. Is that essentially for the first 60K, you're going to rip around down the hill. So if you think about the Blue Mountains, people turn up to the Blue Mountains, don't they? And they go, where are the mountains? And then they get to Echo Point and go, oh, they're down there. There's Mount Solitary. But the whole thing, you're travelling up the hill through Blacksland, Glenbrook, you go up the hill, Wentworth Falls, and then you're at Katoomba, and then you're actually climbing up through to the Megalong Valley. As I understand it, it is the first sort of 50, 60K are going to take you out on pretty much a loop down through those kind of, I don't know if you'd call them canyons, but the valley leading down the mountain and then back up, and then you're going to loop around into the 100K course. Is that right? Yep.
So they've got pretty much the first 60K will take place before joining the UTA 100K course. I think it's very much a buyer beware situation. The race is starting not in Katoomba, which is a standard, home for the start line and finish line, but it's starting out at Blackheath, out at Medlow Gap, and it's going to do Grand Canyon and drop down into the Gross Valley. So it's tough. There's a lot of stairs, and it's a hard work just getting to the Gross. Then you've got Lockley's pylon, Lockley's look down to get up to Mount Hayes Road. Tough as Billy-O kind of a climb out of the valley there. This is really going to separate, like I say, the men from the boys, but that's really not appropriate term anymore.
Wheat from the chaff.
It'd be very easy to do too much too early in this event, and I think that's the thing that I think most athletes, all athletes in the 100 mile need to be aware. The section that joins Mount Hayes Road to Medlow Gap uses what's called Bruce's Walk, which is effectively a power line that's strung directly across the Blue Mountains with no care at all for the terrain underneath it. So running underneath it means you're just doing a straight line on a topo map, which is a really tough way to get from point A to point B. And all reports are that the trail is not only really choppy there, but it's really ugly. So that bit I think is a big surprise heading into Medlow Gap, and then Medlow Gap down to Katoomba, almost along the side of the Great Western is relatively straightforward, and then the UTA 100k course as per. So I think it's just a gotcha there, and I think that's going to be really important for those athletes that are racing for that big kahuna, big money stuff, that they'll probably want to assert some dominance early, and that's going to be really mega danger zone. So it's going to be a show up and blow up kind of scenario with some really big risk for those racing.
Yeah, I definitely, if I'm watching the race, I don't think I'll be paying much attention for that first 60k, because the proof will be in the pudding when it starts to hit that 100k course.
It's funny, isn't it, when we say things like the race doesn't start till the 100k course, or the race doesn't start till, Narrow Neck, or the race doesn't start. I mean, we've seen, and I think we should crack into the athletes, but like the notable omission for this year is one Samuel Harvey of Christchurch. And we know that with that lad, the race starts the first step over the line. But he's not coming this year. And I wonder if that will, he's come off the back of, he was second at the Tarawera Maila in 2024. He was victorious at Kosciuszko. I mean, that was an interrupted play, but he took that one home. And also he had a big victory at this year's Tarawera. I wonder if that will change up. Well, it will change up because he's not there, but like what that means for the field.
Yeah, I think if he was there, you'd be seeing a change in race tactics. I think that not having that foot on the gas from the get-go, I mean, potentially it means well, you know what, it depends on who's showing up. So we've got Vlad as really probably the top pick of the bunch, and he's fast, but maybe it means that you can take a little bit of pressure off from the beginning and race a more sensible race to ensure you get through it. What's your take, Kerry?
Yeah, there's two different Vlads, and he's been through a lot in the last year or so. Yeah. So incredibly stressful time in his house. And, that said, he's still able to race, with some proficiency. He won the Brisbane Trail Ultra 100 mile last year. He was second at UTK 100 mile in 2020. Yeah. So he's okay, with 100 mile events. He set an incredibly fast time at the Tarawera 100 mile a few years ago. So, when he gives it horns, he's incredibly dangerous. Maybe my asterisk next to that is, the technicality of this terrain. He's a very fast runner, a very good marathoner with sort of, a low 220 kind of pass on a marathon, which is hot wheels for sure. But, long stuff in the mountains, if we get that good Vlad Shatrov, definite podium threat.
Do you know what lets me think about that this might be and I'll absolutely nail my colours to the mast here, like good or ill, I'm a Vlad fan. I'm actually a Sam fan too, right? Like, because I had the opportunity to hang out with him in person, and I think that's like I'm an old man, right? Like I find his social media presence jarring, but it's a different generation, so I don't need to understand it. But like hanging out with him in person, he's a decent human being, and he's just a kid who wants to like send it, right? So you're so right. It's like letting fireworks off inside the house, right? Like you're like, okay, we're going to start, and we've lit this Roman candle off in our kitchen. How do we contain this Roman candle? The thing that points me to Vlad's potential success, and I agree with you, Kerry, like so much about racing is what happens outside of the race itself. Like there's been, like you said, you've alluded to it, and not wanting to, spill any tea or shit, whatever that analogy is. But like dude's been going through, he's had it tough, right? He finished Kosciuszko. Now he was nipping at Sam's heels at the I want to say first or second aid station when like they climbed up from Bullock's Flat. They got up to the top down at Perisher. They filled up and then they were off. And he was right there. He was in third place and he dropped off. And we were like, oh, here we go. He's going to pull the pin. He didn't pull the pin. He finished in some real inclement conditions. And that was a real like flag for me. That was a green flag. I was like, okay, this is cool, right? Because he's obviously built up some psychological reserves. And I think I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what he can do.
Can I just say, because he ended up being 26 hours for him, which is
right.
That to me, that shows incredible grit to
absolutely
finish 100-mile races in kind of like 15 hours or that sort of thing, and then to go like, oh no, I've gone too hard, is my guess. I haven't talked to him after that race, but my guess is that he went out too hard, but then he was like, damn it, I'm going to finish this. So kudos to that man. Just, closely ranked behind him is young Kiwi man, Cameron Kerr. So he's 28, rising star. He's showed pretty amazing form winning Muratapu Ultra in 6:27. Like, that's a really tough race.
Hundo.
And it's a pretty quick time for that race. Backed it up with 3 peaks in 5:11, so 56 Ks, which is a pretty tough race. What else has he done? We've got Koze, he was 10th. So he did also Doi Inthanon Summit 100-miler, so 170K, in Thailand. 19th there, 28-27.
So he's got some chops at the 100-mile distance. Young guy, rising star. You're extrapolating from an incomplete data set, but if he's targeted this race and prepared for it really well, he's got the wheels. Again, serious podium threat, and it would be a great run for him. I think it'll look really good on the CV. I think the way he's going, that a good performance here would really, I think, shoot him into stardom.
But then, like behind, just narrowly ranked behind him, we've got Eric Conche, Morgan Lindquist. So both guys that we've seen do pretty well before at UTA, at Koze, at Tarawera. So these guys are not to be underestimated, and they've got wise heads. They're a bit older in the sport. So both of them, good competition there. You've got Akito Nagao from Japan, who has got some 100-mile experience, I believe. Yeah, multiple 100-mile finishes.
Shinitsu 5 Mountains, first place, 20 hours for 100 miles.
And Ultra Mount Fuji 2023, he was 14th. So, in another one, Fun Trails 100-mile. Sounds exciting, doesn't it?
I was looking at that, looking like it's a Terry Davis title, isn't it? The grueling fun trails through the Matagari and Spaniard grass.
8th place there. So we've got, Cameron might be young and fast, but less experienced. But then you've got a lot of experience closely ranked behind him.
Absolutely.
We've got Luke Nichols. He was second at Cozumela in 2024.
Raced a lot last year.
19 hours. So that's a pretty quick time.
Yeah.
He did UTA. He was 15th in 10:59. So we'll see how Luke goes. I'm thinking good things. Jonathan Forrest, what's he done? UTA 2024. He was 19th. Bondi to Manly. He was 12th.
Yeah, I don't have any completed 100 milers for John. It would be a tough debut for him, but he's in our elite list. Yeah. So, probable, almost certain top 10 finisher if he can cobble together a good run.
Got Chris McAuliffe from Victoria. So he won Oscar's Hut to Hut.
Yeah, Oscar's Hut to Hut is a very tough 100K. Yeah, absolutely. That's comparable in many ways to what would be the UTA 100K or a bit longer.
He won Yuyang's 100 miler in 2023 in 1959.
Yeah, it's a good time for 100 miles at Yuyang's.
GPT third place, 26 hours. And that's a pretty technical, hilly course.
Yeah, he likes it long. He's got a lot of long experience. So.
Down under 135, Buffalo. So,
yep, late in the day.
Yeah.
Yep, if he's still standing.
We've got Daniel Grunbaum, Sydney-based runner. So he'll have no doubt been out on course doing some training. What's he done? UTA 100K 12:29, so pretty quick. Cosy miler, 28 hours for him. So he's finished 100 miler. He's pretty solid. We've got Ronan McNally. He is newer face in the ultra distance scene. He was 29th at UTA 100 last year. What else have we got there? Great North Walk 50 miler 2021. He was 4th. So he's in UTA 100. He was 2023.
I think this will be Ronan's first 100 miler if he gets it done. So
yeah, 13 hours 17. So he's getting faster. So we'll see how he goes. And Grant Brisbane rounding out the top 10 predictions. Knows how to run long. He did IAU 24-hour world champs in 2023. Ran 254K.
Yeah, his 24-hour distances are. He's got cred. So I think he qualified for that with the 240-kilometre 24-hour, and so he's run over 240 Ks several times on the track. And Matt, cred for the plus 200 24 hours.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what unfolds for these guys.
Let's move through to the women. I mean, I wish these races, it seems like of late, and I'm hopeful that if UTA again is picked for a major next year, the 100K is the race. Like Tarawera, the 100K is the race. And that's not to take away from anyone who raced and completed the, a sub 24 Tarawera or actually finished Tarawera Miler. But you've got people going out, but the you don't get the Dan Jones, the Ruth Croft, the Hayden Hawks, the Ryan Montgomerys in the 100 mile. I'm hopeful that it kind of boosts that and it becomes, these become races that people kind of
interesting point, because in the last sort of 10, 15 years that have been sort of hanging around at UTA, they've sort of considered the 50 and the 100, pretty even pegging for value and importance. And the fields that show up for it are generally that, sometimes a little bit, more pointed in the 100K. But I think they're going to fold in the 100 miler without, you're right, at Tarawera, it's very much the 100K, is where the mana is at. But I think UTA is a little bit more dispersed, and you've seen some incredible racing across all the distances, or even right down to the 22. So
my goodness me.
Yeah, so the whole race is everywhere. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see where they put the spotlight on this. I think that the live commentary is going to give some indication of that as a major as well. But I mean, the big money is on, all of the long distances. So I think they're probably going to be considered, all equally important.
Right. Let's whip through the women's field. Names stand out.
So Lin Chen from China. So she's been really dominant in the Asian ultra scene recent years. So she was first female at Doi Inthanon 100 miler in 2023 in time of 21 hours 10, pretty slick. Hong Kong 100K 2024, first female 12:44, and that is a very steery.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, yeah, that race in Hong Kong is a lot like UTA.
Yeah,
so
it is. Yeah.
A lot of stairs, but a lot of concrete stairs.
Yeah, so she's tough. What have we got? UTMB 2024, fourth female, 24 hours.
24 hours. That would have won it in most years.
Yeah.
So, I think, was it right down to fifth would have won it in 2024?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? There's that kind of demarcation between the sort of DeWalter, Sheed, and Croft era, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's going to, like, hands down that she's got some ultra chops, this woman. The 5,000 euros, less the tariff. No, we're not talking. No tariff jokes. Okay, carry on. Kelly.
Next up, a very familiar name in the Australian trail running scene, Kelly Angel. She knee Emerson, really well-loved runner, and she's got some pretty amazing racing experience. So she was second female at Lavaredo in 2023 for the 80K. CCC 2023, she was 17th female. So Grampians 100 miler, she ran 2023, first female 28:18. Western States, she was 17th female in 2024. And I'm sure she's got more than that too. So
she's been racing
CCC,
for such a young woman with 50 years racing experience. Yeah. I don't understand how it's possible.
Yeah. So looking forward to seeing how that goes. She's pretty tough as Kelly. So
Katie Wright wasn't on our list, but scratch.
Yeah, because she ran Tarawera.
Yes,
she did run Tarawera.
Yeah. So she's not doing that.
Emma Timmis.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about someone who can go to the well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You may actually, insert female name here. Most of them, I've seen many of these women corpses on the finish line.
Well, I guess the thing, though, and maybe and this is the thing, you're running off a data set and a UTMB index, I'm running off of vibes. It's like, I mean, she's a double world record holder, fastest time from the top to the bottom of the country, not on Te Araroa. I think she just blasted down the roads.
Really?
Yeah. And then she also holds the world record for longest distance for 7 days on a treadmill.
Yeah, I was going to say the treadmill ones was
truly bonkers. Yeah.
There's some next level endurance there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But also psychological endurance. You know, you're on a treadmill. You're not seeing any views. You're just running in place for 7 days, and she knocked that out of the park. We know that she's got technical chops too. Seen her at the Skedaddle, briefly at the Skedaddle and Cradle
27
Rims.
hours for that win at Skedaddle last year.
Yeah.
What? Skedaddle?
No, the Skedaddle. So it's I hope they never put an ultra in the Skedaddle. I hope they just keep it real tight. It's a marathon, half marathon. I think they got an 8K and a 6.
So she was 4:47 for that, which is
ridiculous. They talked about get your marathon time and then put 50% on it. It was like being beaten to death in a Graham Sydney painting. It is challenging. Yeah, and she smoked it.
Yeah, she's run 8:20 for Old Ghost, which is hot as well. Mm-hmm. She's won Cradle Rim. If she's top 3 podium finish minimum for Emma, I would say. I don't know that she's run a Ultra Trail Australia event previously. I hope she knows what she's in for. There's high specificity required for this event.
And the next on the list who has high specificity, the incredible Lou Clifton. So she will, her and Emma are likely to be kind of in that similar realm.
100%.
Ding-donging it out for that podium spot in my mind.
We talk about Queen of the Mountains a lot, and I think that crown gets passed around a bit, with the Beths and the Lou's and the others of the Blue Mountains. Yeah, but Lou definitely can race well. She'll probably be the most experienced woman to step on that course, as a serious podium threat. So she'll know every branch. And,
I did catch up with her when I was over for hosting camp the other weekend. So she had been battling a bit of a niggle, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it just means we get a slightly fresher Lou on the course. So I wouldn't peg that against her. She's 2023. She was 3rd female at UTA 100K.
She's raced UTMB.
Yeah, raced UTMB. She won Buffalo Stampede in 2022. So Lou Clifton. It's going to be super interesting to see how these ladies go against each other.
Jasmine Voltman?
I don't know a lot about Jasmine, to be honest. What has she done? Cradle Mountain and Tassie, 2nd female.
You've been there?
2022. So she knows technical, the really technical course, that one.
Quite a climb.
11 hours 15, which sounds pretty slick to me. She's done UTA 100K, 5th female in 2023, so 12 hours 14.
She's podium at Bogon to Hoffen, which is pretty lumpy.
I
don't have any knowledge of her running 100 miles previously, so this might be a step out into the unknown for her.
Yeah. Peter O'Brien-Smith. Rising talent. She's had some pretty amazing races. So she's podiumed Cosy Miler twice. What's she done? She was second female in 2022, 1949. She was 2023, third female, 2319. Obviously, the courses were quite different for those years, different conditions as well. She'd 2024 Kanani Mountain Run. She was second female in 909. She's got Feral Pig 100K in 2021, 12 hours 43. So she's quick.
Yeah, she's had a couple of she's been second and third at Kosciuszko, which is also not a particularly easy 100 miles. So she's got some experience, definite contender for top 5. Jessie Whittle.
Yeah, so what she got? Cairns Port Douglas 2022. First female 10:08 and 80K course. Ultra Australia 100K. She was 10th, 11:32. Kanani Mountain Run 68K for female 9:45. Tattaway 100 miler 2024 9th female 23:33. So she's got some 100-mile experience.
Deep fields.
Olivia Hulbert.
What can we tell you about Olivia?
4th at Blackall a couple of years ago.
Cosy 100K 2022, 4th female. Tattaway 100 miler, 10th female in 2024, 23:42 for her. So
it's pretty good, under 24 hours for 2024 course. It was our Luke's course.
Yeah.
It was out and back on Western course, so that was pretty slow. 100 mile at Tarawera, so fine, enough experience.
Now, I might be wrong. I feel like Tanya said that we've got Karen McMorrow here, but I think Karen might actually be pacing someone, so I think that might be why we've had her data pulled.
Okay.
So that's really 100-mile contenders.
I'd love to see Lou Clifton do it. I think that would be super cool. It'd be good to see. That'd blow up the mountains. I think that'd be really cool. The times we've had finishes like that at UTA, they've just been mega. So that'd be cool.
See, I'm Team Timmins all the way.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, I get it. Cheer for the Kiwi.
Yeah.
You always got to shout for your home team. But yes, absolutely. Lou Clifton, Blue Mountains local. I mean, they love it, and as they should, because they're sitting on, they're sitting on a pot of gold out there, aren't they? And there's a real, there is an acknowledgement of that, and I don't think it's not passed in an arrogant way. It's not passed in a kind of NIMBY-ish way. It's passed in a really kind of that sort of humble way. But there is an awareness that, if you're lucky enough to grow up in or live in the Blue Mountains, you're on some hallowed ground. Let's move through to the UTA 100, and I am going to change things up because I am impulsive, and such is my want, and I want predictions. Now we're going to get into the predictions game. We've got 10 athletes. I
didn't like the predictions game.
I do like the predictions game.
Well, previously you've told me off for the predictions game, but okay.
I know, but that was then and this is now.
Okay.
And I'm impulsive, as we've just discovered.
Yep.
Although we know this, anyone who's listened to 6 years of Dirt Church Radio knows that I am the impulsive one. But what are we thinking? I mean, that is a stacked field in both.
It's super spicy.
Both of the genders.
And there's actually I'm going to call it kind of like weirdly a local derby.
100%.
Because there's a lot of really strong runners from the area that are in this lineup. We've got obviously the outlier is Jia Xing Shen from China, who comes with a really high UTMB index.
That's huge.
Yeah, 899. So whether they've trained steers, ready for the terrain, we shall see.
That's Western States 100 time. Did you catch that?
15
hours.
19. Yeah.
And you know what? That's good enough for a paltry 8th place at Western States.
Fourth overall.
That's a golden age. That's a golden age of ultra running win.
Oh yeah.
On so many, like, again, pre kind of anywhere up to kind of Tim Olsen, that's a win.
Yeah, absolutely. So run it twice and
sorry, that's a confusion.
15:19 in 2023, and then last year 15:09, which is wicked quick. So Yeah, can you handle the stairs? Yeah. Can I just quickly, just touching on the UTA 100 course for those doing it, some slight changes to it. I think probably all athletes should probably know that the start procedure is going to be a little bit different for all of the races now. They're doing a bit of a trickle feed into the courses to help try and fix the congestion problems a little bit and dilute the issues raised from start groups. So expect, which is common now at Tarawera and other UTMB events, is to have those, crowd barriers in the starting chute, which will just help throttle runners through and drip feed them into the course. So expect that. I know I've seen some comments about people not fully understanding that, but that is quickly becoming the cultural norm around the world. So that's a change to the starting procedure. Also, a lot less biscotti in the first 5Ks, as those who are used to the 100K courses are doing a lot of it, have historically done a lot of out and backs on Cliff Drive and Fuchsia and a lot of stuff around the start line. Now it just heads straight out narrow neck, and your extra kilometres are added in the Megalong Valley by way of that loop that is now done out to the west on 6 foot track and back again. So that tidies up the need for extra kilometres, boo to events that don't just use the actual course that's laid out in the distance that they arrive at. But to make up the arbitrary number of 100Ks, that's how it's being done, which means the rest of the running is relatively normal and straightforward. The course should be the same as every other year, barring any closures. So carrying on with that.
Okay, so predictions.
First,
I don't know. You know what?
I'm changing up again. Do you have any dark horses? Anyone on that list? Both, men and women. You're looking. Anyone who you're like, ooh.
Looking at the list, there's kind of 4 names that are actually sticking out to me, and I'm going Mike Carroll. Like he's a regular on the scene. Really wonderful guy from Canberra. Rhett Gibson. That man has been around. He's basically part of the scenery there. He shows up at UTA every year and always performs. So, and then George Murray obviously won it 2023.
Yep.
So he's there in the mix as well. And then we've got Quinton Gill, who won Clodsy 100 last year. So strong as well. So those are kind of the ones that are sticking out to me just because I've seen them at the races time after time.
And for the women's field, what are we looking at? What are we thinking? I mean, this is a stack. I think the 50K too is pretty heckish for the women, but like this
spicy.
Is real spicy.
I mean, Anna McKenna's strong, right? But then you've got Beth McKenzie as well, who won it last year, and she's also really strong. And then Juliet Sewell, she did well at Clodsy last year. You've got Naomi Brand, who's a really kind of old. I'm going to call her an old hand in the sport, even though she's not. Emily Gilmore Walsh, previous champion, she'll have been out, stomping those hills. So you've got Sophie Broom, Julia Grant as well. She's been kind of in the mix around. And then Caitlin Howler, Eden Moore, Jessica Campbell. But really, it's going to be a bit of a ding dong, I think, between Anna McKenna and Beth McKenzie.
So let's go. Let's lay it on the line here. I'm willing to put some crypto into it if you want. Kerry, make it a bit spicy.
I only talk Ethereum, brother. Let's go.
A Matt coin. It's not worth very much.
Dirt church coin?
Yeah.
It's a thing. Float it. Let's make some millions. Let's
church
go.
coin.
People buy it.
It's a rug pull, man. That's what it's all about. But look, who are we doing first, second, third, and the women?
I want to see Beth McKenzie do it. I think if she's uninjured, I'd love to see her do it. She can get a little bit broken, but that's where I'd like to see.
I know she's been posting on socials a bit about really battling with menopausal issues lately. So, part of that makes me go, Lemon, do it for the hot flushing ladies.
100%. Chuck another patch on there, get after it.
But Anna McKenna, I don't know. She deserves a win too. Who knows?
I'm asking for predictions. Here's my prediction.
Yeah.
I think you're right about Beth McKenzie. She is just, she's transitioned over from the 3-sport. She's killing it. She's had some huge finishes. I want her to win. I think Juliet Sewell is incredible. And I think that she is just coming into her, her strength. So I'm going to go Juliet Sewell, Beth McKenzie, Anna McKenna, first, second, third.
Yes. Yep. There's often the thing that gets me about this race when athletes are at their absolute best for UTA 100. It's right in that danger zone for red S and BMI type stuff.
100%.
Because of the nature of the course, it really it prefers, those bird-like individuals that carry very little weight and can, ascend very, very quickly. So, my main hope is that we have a lot of healthy runners racing this event in a sustainable, repeatable kind of a way. So long-term health for athletes is my hope.
I'm going Anna, Beth, Juliet, and I reckon Emily Gilmore Walsh will actually be up there, maybe fourth. But then Juliet Grant, question mark.
I know. There's so many in there. It's so tight. And for the dudes, what are we thinking?
Dudes, I'm going to give it to Jia Shen. He's just so good. And then I don't know. Maybe George Murray. And I'm going to back Rick Gibson to sneak in there.
100%. All my money's on Jia Shen. I think that's with that, like 15 hour for Western States. Forget about it. Like, come on. Even at a relatively well-maintained jog, I think he's got it. So that's, I think, a comfortable win. I think the battle's for the boys in the back. Again, I like Mike and Rick, both great guys. So either of those to show up broken, hollowed out husks at the top of Ferber Stairs, and then a stag at the finish line would be great. So,
yeah, it'd be good to see them on that podium.
I'd like to see George on the podium. I mean, he won that year. He really did knock it out of the park, and he really put people were like, a Kiwi. So again, I think that's kind of shouting for the home team.
He's just a wonderful human. I really like him.
Absolutely.
Matt's really waving the red star. He's all about saying, I'm here for you Aussies, Aussie. Like,
no. I mean, this is the thing though. Like, there's a good, absolutely in the top brain, the foldy brain says Jiaxing Shen has it, pending disaster. I mean, like you say, 15 hour and whatever, Western States. But, the heart wants what the heart wants.
Yeah, I guess quite suiting that we're recording this on Anzac weekend. So our brothers on the other, brothers and sisters on the other side of the Tasman there.
Absolutely.
We're all family.
Yeah,
really.
we're going to war again.
Speaking of a war that we will win, let's get into the 50K.
Oh, that's a big call.
Okay, he's still going.
No, I'm not being...
No, but I'm actually with you on this.
100%.
Yeah.
So what's the name that I mean, and like I watched, was it Ronnie Spark, Peter Babish being hounded, driven on by, what's his name? Ben St. Lawrence. Ben St. Lawrence. I watched them that year. They were in the 50K, and Peter Babish and Ronnie Sparks were running like their lives depended on it. And there's Ben St. Lawrence. He was just sitting back. He was 10 meters back, just like, I'm here all day, boys. And it was so awesome. The 50K is really where you see that, it's everything's bigger, isn't it? Everything is more speed, more strategy, more, more buff headery, just bring the biff. And there's some awesome names. But Ali, what do you got?
Okay, I'm just going to read through the names and then we'll do our predictions. So Peter Babis, David Houndschmidt, Hiroki Kai, Vlad Ixel, Nicholas Ignacio Benavides, Brody Nankervis, Billy Curtis, Thomas Banks, Andrew Gatenby, and Sam Rout. So I know Houndschmidt went there last year, and I reckon he's coming back like, I actually want to win this. He's
grabbed some Euros.
He's definitely out for the Euros.
I love Houndschmidt. I think he's an absolutely amazing dude, but I just don't think his ceiling is as high. And it's tough call.
It's Peter Babis.
Honestly, not quite as high. And it's a big call. But I understand David's fitness quite well because he's raced some courses that I've raced as well, and I know that our times are very comparable, and that I don't think I could beat. At my best, I wouldn't have beaten Peter. So,
interesting.
Yeah, I think not Houndschmidt, but top three. Vlad Ixel does a lot of racing across Asia, Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
He's raced for Australia internationally. He's again quite a diverse figure in the trail running scene. I guess that social media presence thing is something that us older men don't fully understand, but a strong athlete nonetheless. has raced UTA before, so has a bit of experience. I think probably top 5 for him, but not.
Can I just add a Hiroki Kai? I started giggling, thinking, I wonder if Jia Shen will take Hiroki Kai's approach to his race and just be like, I'm going to take some videos and some
that was so
selfies
good.
and stuff. So Hiroki came, what was he at Tarawera? Was he second or third? I can't even remember now.
Have you seen, Matt? Have you seen the video that he filmed?
Absolutely.
He's just running along with Dan Jones for the first half of it, and they're just having chats, and he's filming it as they go. It's the most unreal coverage of the Tarawera that I've ever seen. It's a great video. Seek it out.
I guess this is the thing. People are people, eh? Like the same. And that's the glory. I think if you can actually ascend to that spot where you can have a human conversation when you're at the front of the field, just like all the many thousands of human conversations that are happening right to the back, I think that you've transcended.
They definitely do. Obviously, the intensity is higher, but also when you're racing, at the tippy top of the field, there's mind games in amongst the conversation as well. So there's a lot of sort of pointed probing questions about how people are feeling, what their training's like, and what they have planned afterwards. And so the key to a good race, particularly a hot race like the 50K and 22K races, is you're not so much running a time or beating the course, you're beating the other people. So
that's right. It's a ding dong.
You've got to decide when you sit and when you kick, or when you sit back and think someone's done too much too early. I mean, the 50K course itself is very choppy for the first 22 kilometres until they get out of Wentworth Falls, and then it becomes really quite runnable, predominantly forestry roads with 8Ks of downhill, and so for those that backloaded and finished quickly, you can get some incredibly interesting accordion-like finishes that we've seen at the 50K previously. I've seen 3 athletes on the Furber Stairs changing places in the 50K. And you just couldn't imagine what it's like at 49 kilometres into an ultra marathon, going up Furber Stairs, married to the handrail, trying to beat 1 or 2 guys in front of you. It's unbelievable, the finishes we've seen there, and calling them have been an honour and a privilege.
I mean, that's the taste of coins in your mouth, isn't it? That really is. It's. I wonder. I mean, Emil Zatopek. Who was he racing in the Olympic marathon? And Zatopek, the famous Czech runner who used to famously, sleep in the snow or do all that stuff.
Train in his bathtub.
Train in his bathtub in his army boots and ran every distance at the Olympics. And was he racing? It wasn't Roger Bannister, but it was something like that. And he said to him, hey, look, man, how fast are we meant to be running? And the dude sort of looked askance and went, well, normally, oh boy, I'd like to run a little bit faster than that. And he went, okay, thanks, and just took off, So I like the Hiroki Kai. I like the naive inquiry. I'm all about it.
I always like Zatopek's quote, I was never talented enough to look good and run fast at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he looked like he was having a
cerebrovascular
cerebrovascular
brothers and sisters, just giving it welly on the further 951.
But Hiroki, he actually does manage to.
Oh yeah. So there are those.
He's just smiling,
disgusting
so grateful
individuals
the whole time.
that look good, and yeah. You're the photograph. You're the people that we use for the promo stuff. Where you're running blissfully across the mountains with a nice ponytail, men or women.
Right. Speaking of. Who are we looking at in the women's field? I mean, there's one name that jumps out at me.
I was so excited when I saw this. Caitlin Fielder lining up for UTA 50. So she hopefully, her and Ruth put on a masterclass Tarawera 100K.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I hope that, obviously, she's actually building to Western States, right? So it's not her A race, but I hope that she still gives us a really good show of what she's capable of in that course.
Lucy did this as a step through on her way to the Western States 100 mile and courageously run herself into the top 3 there. Yeah. And a good form Caitlin Fielder for sure. She doesn't actually know that she owes me some painted shoes yet, but I must remember to call her in on that debt that she doesn't know that she has for me.
And then Ali Wilson. So she always dominates our New Zealand races. I think she just lined up for Fault Line. So she should be up there. We've got Katie Morgan, Jessica Jason, Demi Caldwell. So Jessica Jason and Demi, I think, have both done quite well at COSI and I'm going to say UTA before as well. Helena Michael, Hannah Wall, Gillian Turnbull, Joanne Mills, and Monica Ludrix. So there's going to be some people probably ding-donging it out for that third place, I reckon. I think Caitlin and Ali are all over it for first and second, but then who will be third?
I don't know. Have you heard the term Donnybrook? It's one of my favourite ever expressions. And a Donnybrook is an out-of-control brawl with lots and lots of different things happening. It's named after a county fair in Donnybrook in Ireland where frequently stuff got a bit heckers. But this is going to be the Donnybrook. I'm pointing there. Who you got? Kerry, come on, man, for the women's.
The heart's going to bet with the head, and I'm taking the Red Stars this time. Caitlin Fielder for the win.
Hundo.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
I got Caitlin Fielder for the win. I'm going to go Katie Morgan for second and Ali Wilson third. But again, racing's racing. What about for the, for the dudes? Who are we thinking?
I'm going to vote with my heart for this one. I'm going Hound Schmidt for the big W.
We don't agree on something.
Yeah. And I'm going to say Hiroki Kai second and Peter Babbis third.
Yeah, I'm going Flying Doctor all the way for this one. Hound Schmidt for the win.
Okay, cool. I stand alone here.
What are you doing?
I feel like it's like my Formula One betting. It's Oscar Piastri here. I honestly, Hound Schmidt's great. Love him to bits, but I don't think he's got Peter's number here. I think that Hound Schmidt second, Peter first, and I think Hiroki Kai for third place.
Special shout out Brody and Kerris. Curvis, he won the 22. I think it was in 2023 he won the 22K. Absolutely, just tore it a new one, came across the line. And the thing that I loved about him, and this seems silly in some respects, his gear was so dialed. He managed to fit all his compulsory gear because they said, you've just come across and you're wearing singlet and shorts and you've got a handheld, show me all your gear. And he was like, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this. Everything was in its right place and everything was just I think special shout out for him. So one to watch. But again, anything can happen on a good day in the Blue Mountains.
22K?
22K.
The spicy race.
Yeah, the traditional course. Thank goodness we're back out there again. Yay. Queen Victoria to the finish line. Everyone loves it this way. Let's do it.
Yeah.
For those running the course, it is the welcome to trail running for a lot of people. A lot of athletes travelling up from Sydney. It's very, local New South Wales kind of a field.
It is a Sydney vibe.
Yeah, and some thousands will take part in it. It's a 22K course that can be congested all the way to the finish line. So it does start very fast, I think, for those running it. Be aware that you've got, 7 sort of 8Ks of downhill down at Jamison Creek. It is very common for athletes to arrive at the bottom of it with absolutely cooked quads and no ability to run smartly through the remaining sort of 16Ks to the finish line, which lends itself uphill, sort of a step up to the helipad and then a double step out of Lura water treatment plant up to Federal Pass and then climb further stairs. So I guess my advice for all of the rookies out there is just keep your cadence nice and high in the descent. Think about moving efficiently to the bottom of the hill. You are going to get wet feet at Jamison Creek. Everyone does. It's unavoidable. Enjoy your time out there. If it's your first time, welcome to Ultra Trail Australia. So much fun. You'll see the Three Sisters on approach. It's got a really good lineup. It's such a beautiful course once you get down into the valley there. So, the form guide for UTA 22 is hard to pick because it's such a hot race and there are some that have run it before and some that are new to it. But it's one of those events where you can get the surprise 18-year-old who's
local ripper taking the day off school and is gonna
he's just thrown down a 14:30 5,000 meters somewhere at a school event, and then here he is at UTA, and seasoned veterans like Ben Duffus, I've seen him run some incredible UTA 22s. So you even get athletes because there is money here stepping down from longer distances to race the shorter distances very fast. So the form guide's very hard to follow, and I wouldn't go and use just your ITRA or UTMB index for that. This would be like a chuck of a dart, I think, at a list of names. Hallie?
Yeah, looking at the race results, so for the men, we've got quite the list. Leo Peterson, Ian Best, Nathan Pearce, Ben Duffus, James Barnett, Pat Hennessy, Patrick Clark, Henry Hugman, David Bailey, Etienne Blumstein Jones and Jack Newsham. My pick is actually Nathan Pearce, I reckon. He's going to take the big W. And I don't know, Ben Duffus, he's always in the mix, isn't he?
Second last year. Yes, I mean, but the thing with Ben, he's so experienced.
Yeah.
He's so damn smart. I like Etienne Blumstein-Jones too. You know, he rips it up, and he's always in the mix. But you're exactly right, Kerry. I think you could take a dart, throw it behind your head, and wherever it hits on the board, that could be.
Yeah.
It may not be anyone in our top 10 list. So
Exactly.
that's how it goes. But you can't say UTA without saying Benjamin Duffus. So shout out to that, guys. Great guy. So good to see him back again. In the ladies' race, women's race.
Siobhan Seba. So we've got Siobhan Seba, Georgina Campbell, Helena Michael, Sarah Levitt, Bethany Garland, Bridget Lund, Jessie Speedy, Channa Marsh, Sarah Harton, and Stephanie Wilson. So, I mean, oh, golly, looking at that list, I think Jessie Speedy's actually a dark horse. She's done really well at some of the races. Like we had her at Tarawera, she smashed out the goat, and at the goat she's just like, oh yeah, I just did it. This is a training run, and she's like second place, I think. So she's not to be underestimated, especially on that kind of distance. And I think that she'll have the leg speed to smash it all ends. But then you've also got Siobhan Seba, and I don't know, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, there's. I think probably the thing to note if you are using form guides and calculators that with that women's 22, the UTMB index for the top like 8 or 9 women there are split by only 40 points. So typically that stuff is built up over challenging longer course events, but using that alone, you would say it could be any of those top 8 women in the top 3 and shuffle them, put them back in the deck, pick a card. What was your card?
Sarah Levitt also shouldn't be underestimated. She won the 22K in 2024. So, yeah.
Okay, we've run through this list. It's incredible racing. I said something off air, and I'm going to bring it back onto air. And I just want to finish up. What are your hopes for UTA?
Hopes for UTA. You know what? I think it's actually just to see the passion and the community and the joy of being in the mountains and the beauty of the mountains. Like I hope that all comes to the forefront for 2025, that it's there's this beautiful essence that's made me fall in love with UTA over the years, and it's been the spirit around the race, and I hope that is there in full force.
What about you, Kerry?
I think that there's been some really choppy years for UTA, particularly around the COVID, post-COVID, on again, off again mess, and the petting zoo, etc. And I feel like it's starting to get back to its normal norm and cadence. So delivering the courses that we've all grown to love, and realizing that behind the scenes, actually, that love is being dialed up more than previously. Tom Landon-Smith, the event, original event creator, is now more involved in the event than he has been previously since selling the event. We've still got, Easy and Steve, course crew, Polly's there. The team is just Poppy's there. We've got it's the people behind the scenes that I think quickly forgotten about when you see all this fanfare and, people will comment that these big races are a bit soulless, but let it be known that there is still the people behind the scenes more than before, and they're all now forklift certified. The health and safety stuff we have to go through is outrageous. So
I haven't done mine for this year, actually.
But I just want that to shine through, Matt, and I think people, I want them to see it and appreciate it, to know that the commentary team, it's care, like the work that Ali goes into, making sure we have the right people in the right places at the right time, and it's a mega moving machine, UTA, and I think I just want people to observe that for a moment, just breathe and appreciate what goes into it, and then in the next breath appreciate where they are. And
there is a lot of people that care a lot about the race. Like one of my favourite now examples of how much the team care is like Tanya, who's what is she? Director of trail running in Oceania. On her birthday, UTA was on her birthday.
100%.
Some lady came up crying because she'd lost her cell phone in the Portaloo. So Tanya...
No, she hadn't lost it. She'd dropped it into 4 foot
So
of
Tanya,
human
rubber
effluent
gloves.
and blue liquid.
No, head of trail running.
Yeah, big boss, big kahuna.
She was shoulder deep.
No
Yes,
way.
happy birthday. Here's your cell phone. And like you know, I'm just gonna put it out there. If that was me, I'd probably be
100%.
like, see your phone.
Get in your
just
phone.
But these people, I know, you know, they work for a large corporation, but they actually care. So there's a lot of people that do that work for the event, but they work bloody hard and they care a lot and they want people to have a good day. And I think that's, you know, essentially what you're saying is that, yeah.
And as a major, I think it's going to be a little bit spot the differences too, because it's going to be something else again, and some people might not like it. But I think for those that haven't experienced something, you know, on the world stage, like, you know, UTMB, you know, in Chamonix, this is probably as big as the circus has ever been.
Absolutely.
In Australasia. So have a look around, see, you know, legends like Mayo Backhausen and Martin Gaffuri doing 24-hour commentary, you know, to deliver the event live. Tune in if you can't make it to the event. Just get part of UTA in any way possible. It's one of those events that has to be seen to believe. If you like Tarawera, you'll love the Blue Mountains.
Matt, what are your hopes?
I couldn't add. I don't think I could add more. And that's right. Hug your Poppy and Sam. Hug your Easy. Or think about these people who are there, and countless other people that you see, and I don't know their names. So I see them like eating Nutri-Grain and just like, well, I'm going out for another 14-hour day, and off they go.
Yep.
You know, your sweeps, everything like that. I'm
Trumper.
I mean, yes, what a legend. I'm hopeful that, and I know I'm the new kid on the block, right? Huge and I came on board the year that it was in October. It got moved, and there was all that kind of stuff happening, and then the course got changed, and yada yada yada. But yeah, you're right. Like seeing that soul of the event, and it's unquantifiable when you go there. There is something, you know, and I love Tarawera, but there's something about the Blue Mountains that speak to you. So I think the thing for me is I went out. So my tradition is fly in early Wednesday, first flight in, get from Sydney to the Blue Mountains, and usually a little bit of 6s and 7s, you know, traveling away from family, and go for do the MC briefing, and then, you know, chuck your bags into KCC. And then I chuck my running shoes on and I head out on Cliff Drive onto Narrow Neck, and I run like an arbitrary, like I run 5K out, 5K back, right? And you get to that Narrow Neck, the cul-de-sac, and there was this dude, and I've told this story before. He's sitting on the bottom of his ute. He's choking back a dart. He's got a mullet. He's in a work shirt, and he's happy. He's truly happy. The sun's going down. It's just exceptional. I was like, he looks at me like, "G'day, mate." And I was like, "Hey, man, how are you?" He's like, "You having a good day?" And I said, "Look, yeah, I am. I'm just here to do this." And he's like, "Fantastic." I said, "You never get used to this, do you?" And he goes, "I've been coming here I've been doing this for 50 years. And no, you never do." So I think that's the kind of thing, like you never quite get used to the fact of where you are. And I'm really, really excited to be a part of it and actually see that reflected in the racing too, because I think sometimes, perhaps it's got a little bit homogenized maybe, I don't know, a little bit soulless at the top of the thing, but bring back that soul, bring back that gratitude, bring back that sort of awareness of you're in a truly, truly special place in the world.
Yeah, I think take a moment for stillness, like you're right, because it's there. Those are the things that I remember too. Like I can't remember what year it was. I want to say like maybe 2017 or 18. We'd been emceeing through the night, and it was sunrise, and we just went out on the deck of Scenic World, and it was, I think, the most incredible sunrise I've ever seen. So just if you can, wherever you are, if you're in the Blue Mountains, take a moment just to look out and just be like, this is majestic.
Yeah.
Can I just bookend our conversation about the course and distances, the UTA 100 mile for the first time? Matt, I want a prediction from you as to the finish rate. It is a 44 and a half hour course time, so that's 10 hours longer than Tarawera. And I'm interested to know, at a guess, what you think the finish rate will be.
I'm going to round it up 60%.
Oh, wow, that was my number. Okay. Yep.
I was similar. I reckon I'm going to go 58%.
Oh, that's dirty. Okay.
Oh, no, sorry, wait, my maths is wrong. 62%.
That was my backup when Matt said 60.
And I guess and for me, like, there hasn't been a day that's gone past since I did not finish Tarawera that I have not thought about that DNF. And not actually in a kicking myself way. It's not that. It's an experience that you go through, and it's a shared experience, right? You share it with lots of other athletes who are either, there's the bell curve of athletic experience and the bell curve of reasons why, right? So there's not been a day where I haven't really thought about it and gone, wow, that was actually, and there's far more positives to take out of the negative. But what I would say to anyone who is thinking about any of these distances, just put it in the place where it needs to be as well, right? Like I think that there is going to be a high DNF rate at the 100 mile. I think it's going to punch lots of people in the balls. And sometimes maybe you need a punch in the balls.
Oh,
yeah, learn about the Blue Mountains the hard way. We certainly did on our adventures up there. Love this chat. Always love chatting to you, Matt.
100%.
Big fan of Dirt Church. Obviously, it's on my very short curated list of podcasts that I subscribe to. So let it be known that when I'm having a hard time sleeping at 3 a.m. and I chuck on a podcast, often it is your voice murmuring away.
Do you know, you are not the first person that has said to me, I fall asleep to your voice. And the first person who said that to me was a very attractive, powerful woman, and I nearly jumped out the second store window of the hotel that I was in. So that was awkward. But I'm awkward. Look, Ali, Kerry, love your work, guys. What you bring to the community, your deep, like your interstitial knowledge of the Blue Mountains is fantastic. This has been Dirt Church Radio, our special Ultra Trail Australia by UTMB preview. Those who aren't lucky enough to be in the Blue Mountains, check it out on I guess it's UTMB World. They'll be live streaming it, but we will see you real soon. Mate wa.